Didn't wait for Kat to start the recording. Welcome everyone, and thank you for joining us for this Interlibrary Loan Users Group Committee meeting. We got some cool stuff to share today. Tessa always has excellent tips and tricks, and we got a brand new thing that we're going to show off a little bit. And I'm glad that Crystal is here because she's going to be one of the pilot sites for this thing that we're demoing today. So she gets to see it for the first time and then use it pretty soon. So thank you all for joining us. And Tessa, I will hand it over to you.
Hi everyone. Can everybody hear me? Sure. Okay.
Yep.
My name is Tessa Mitchell and I'm from the Scranton Public Library. Today we're gonna go over for new users. I don't know how many new users are here. I'm not quite sure. I know we got a few. Did we get a few not too long ago? New users? Did we get a few new libraries?
We we haven't had anybody migrate since 2022.
Oh, okay.
But we have I know we've had a significant amount of staff turnover in many of our libraries. So we got lots of libraries who are learning Access PA, lots of libraries who are learning like their district services, you know, and stuff like that. So always good to have a refresher.
Okay, you go over how to put short records in. If you want to use that for your library. I know each library is different. Some use PreCat, but I don't know if a lot of us, I know Scranton, we use short records. I'm gonna go over share it requests too, if you need help with that. If you need to look up an old title that's completed, if you want to look up titles and share it. And I know now we have a thing where all Spark users are grouped together now and share it now. That and the statistics and share it that most of you use when you did your annual report. You can go over that a little bit too for some of you who, you know, may not use that or did use it but wasn't sure how to. Do an Excel sheet with that. And if you guys use UPS, how to use a barcode to track your packages to get make sure the package is the book is in the right package you're looking for and looking up, so we can go over that if you want. And any other questions you guys may have that you want to ask that I didn't bring up or want to go over, I'm happy to help. So how do I share my screen? Oh, share. Do share one. Okay. Can everybody see it? Sure. No.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, let me get out of that one. Okay. This one. Sorry. Got too many windows open here. Let's see. Where is? Oh, there you go. Oops. Okay. Over here. Now this is a screen when you're in. Say you're in your home screen, Evergreen. I usually have a little tab up here for shortcuts.
Tessa,
yes.
We're seeing, I think, your other screen.
Oh, I moved it. Sorry. Got to keep it on this screen. Sorry. Do you see it? No.
So we see the Scranton Public Library Share It staff dashboard.
Oh. The screen now? No. You see Spark? No? Oh my God.
You might have to unshare and then share again.
Okay.
This happened yesterday too.
Okay. I have two screens, so my computer, yeah, I have two screens.
Yeah.
Now Spark, is it Spark now? No?
No, not yet.
Oh, let's see. Is it Spark now?
Yep.
Okay. I guess this is screen 2 instead of screen 1. Okay. All right. Okay. Sorry about that. Okay. So if you're in Evergreen home screen, I usually make a shortcut up top, little tabs up top. So I got to keep going, do this way, but I'll show you guys the first way to go through. Catalog, create new MARC record, and it will bring you to Interlibrary Loan short temporary record. Usually I just have short record right here. I click on it and it'll take me to this page right here. Then I'll hit load and it brings up this page right here. And I usually copy and paste. You could easily write titles and author. I just copy and paste from share it or OCLC, whatever I'm using. And then I put it what kind of material it is. We put it's a DVD or a book, so I just put DVD to be a DVD. There's no author for this. There's no author listed on the record and share it, so I just leave it blank. If there's an author, you want to put an author, you can put an author right here in this box right here next to author. And I add item and then call number. So I usually do different access in OCLC, so I'll put access as a call number. And then the ILL number. And the barcode is very, we try not to have you guys use the barcode that's on the book or the item you have, because when we migrate, when the new libraries come on, it may have issues with migration issues with other libraries that now will be on Spark. So we try not to use anybody else's barcode on the back of the book. Use your library barcode or ask your tech services people for barcodes you could use. We use a little different, we use our barcodes, different ones in our actual books. And I'll scan this one. So we use start with our normal barcodes start with a 5, but we use a 4 to distinguish between ILL and our regular material. But if you guys can use your own barcodes that your library supplies you with. Then you hit save. It should bring you to record summary. And you look down and you always hit up, I make sure it says ILL and hit apply. And it should populate like available, your circulating library, shelf location, interlibrary loan, OPAC visible, no, circulation modifier, ILL. And we have a price in ours. It's up to you for a price. This is for if a patron loses it, or if it's overdue, it'll block the patron from checking out any other material. So it's up to your library if you want to put a price in there or not.
So the templates, we can always help people set these up too. They're specific to your workstation. So, if this is something that if you want to do this, if you use the Precat workflow, you don't have to do this. But if you want to do the shortbread workflow, then we're happy to help set these up. The other thing I wanted to note is that when you go to create record, it will default to your workstation default. So Tessa obviously has that set to the ILL one because that's the one she uses. But many of us, like I think mine is set to like Kit or something, because that if I'm cataloging something, then it's probably something very bizarre. So yeah, so those are things that won't be that way when you go in there, but you can set it to do that if you want.
Thank you. You can, let's see. We here at Scranton, we put an item note just to describe the condition of an item. If you want that, because if you want that in your, I know sometimes page say it was like this when we got this, so we try to best describe how the material looks when it gets to our library. So this is a DVD. So I checked this. There's 4 discs. They're all pretty good. So I usually put like good condition, something short. Not to be long, but if you notice any writing in the book or any markings on the outside of the book, anything, I will put in this and make a public note and put any condition in here, just so in case a staff member comes and say, "Oh, this is returned to us," and you're like, "Well, it didn't go out this way." You have a note in that record saying the condition of the item. And I put my initials right here. Put condition, good condition. Put my initials. Let me see. Shoot. There was something else. We started a little bit doing this and I alert items to see if it's like a DVD and it has 4 more discs or 4 more or a few, how many items a material has. So we put like 4 DVDs. So when it says normal check in and check out, so if say a staff member checks it back in, a pop-up saying 4 discs to make sure there's 4 discs in there. So, you know, it won't, well, I returned it before this, as long as the staff member checks it in and out, check it in and out, and then notify you have 4 discs or 3 discs or how many items the material has. So we try to use this when it's more than one to attach to a disc or, you know, any item. Hit OK. You definitely supposed to hit save and exit. So save and exit. And it should come up with this screen. There's nothing here. You see nothing at the bottom. You have to refresh your page. And you should have at the bottom, the information at the bottom. It has ILL, SSVA number, ILL, barcode, you know, everything is right here. Then you place hold for your patron. It's like a regular place and a regular hold. You can place hold. And then we check it in. And it'll pop up saying 4 DVDs. So if your staff want to check before they make sure it's 4 in there before you check it out, they can do that and hit OK. And then a slip will print out like a normal hold slip. And then you're all done. Any questions?
Tessa, there is something in the chat from Mary Porter.
Okay.
If you use the lending library's barcode, it changes their circulation information to your circulation information, and it is then not checked out to access, but to your patron. And the date now reflects when it's due from your patron, not when it is due at the lending library.
I don't use, we don't use their people barcodes here because we don't want, you know, that issue, because on another library is literally checked out under whatever account they have. And I just don't want to mess with any other, you know, libraries account, like our account with that library or anything like that, because it could get lost and they don't know where is it at or who checked out to. So I wouldn't use the library. So we don't use the owner library's barcode because of this kind of issue right here. You know, so I wouldn't use that barcode. So I would try to get another barcode from your library for that item.
And there's lots of ways to do that. Some people use the stickers. Some people use like you put the barcode on an index card and then laminate it so that they can be reused. Got to make sure they get deleted before you reuse them, but that works. There are a number of ways to do it. But yes, because so much of our Access PA transactions are between Spark libraries, you have to like sort of pretend that it's a different item than the one that came from the lending library. And then what happens, so when Adams County, as an example, migrated into Spark, at one point, York County had been using the Adams County barcode for the ILLs that they brought in from Adams County, which, because they're in the same district, was a lot of things. So then when they came in, all these barcodes were already in the system, and so then everything has to be like counted down, and it is a big problem, as they say on PBS. So we just want to remind everybody to please use some kind of your own barcode, and if you would like suggestions on how to do that without making it too much of a hassle, then you can always let us know.
Also, I would show how to take it out of the system. I don't know if I showed that last time, how to take it out of the system. What I do first, I check the item, even though my staff, you know, circulation may have checked it in. I want to double check to make sure this item was checked in before because sometimes if I do the item bucket, it's a problem and I can't do it. So what I do first is I go and hit check in items. I scan the barcode to make sure it's checked in. So the double layer of it won't be in the patron's account, you know, so the double layer of that. I click the checkbox, actions, and I hit add item to bucket. You guys may have to create a new bucket you know, create a new bucket if you don't have an ILL bucket already. So I have ILL discard, and I hit add selected bucket, and I have a, let me see. I mean, I used to have a tabs up here, so easy access, but I'll do it this way. Item bucket. Select my bucket I'm looking at, I want to look at, and I'll have it right here. It said, is it deleted? It's no. So right now it's not deleted. So check mark. Delete select item from catalog. You get, are you sure? Say yes. The reason, last, say yes. You might get, if it's not checked in on a patron's account or if some reason has a hold on it, it won't let you delete it out of the system. So that's why I said I'll always double check when I check in to see if a staff member may have put a hold on this book for another patron or it's still checked out to the patron. So I always check it in so I won't have that issue when it comes to deleting it from the catalog. Hit OK. And then it should say yes. So make sure it says yes, because if not, it will still be here. I don't know if each library is different. I know I can delete my own buckets. You guys may have to go to your tech services people to delete your own buckets. I'm not quite sure. Each library is different. I just go click, remove selected from bucket, and it removes it. But always make sure it says it's an item deleted is yes. If not, it's still be in your catalog. Any questions so far?
There's a comment from Beth. This helps with the question we had about trying to put ILLs in our hold locker. Using Precat, we couldn't put it in the locker because it was checked out already. I was thinking I'd have to do some dummy cards for the locker so we could put the item on hold.
Yes, when you would do short records, this will make it easy to put on hold for your patron.
Yep.
So you can actually keep track of when it got checked out, and it's not just sitting precast, like if it's you automatically there, at least you know that, okay, this day the patron came in, picked it out, not already, you know, it's not upstairs at your circulation desk and, you know, don't know if the patron got it or not, or if it's still up there or anything. So it's more of a keep of a track of where the item in and out of your library, when it came back, you know, things like that.
And Beth, this is also the NCIP integration that we're gonna show that we're still in the testing phases of it, but it will actually do this automatically. So it would, if you do the short bib workflow, even if you just do it for the ones that are going in the lockers, that will make more sense because then they can be truly on hold for the patron. And then the NCIP thing will also mean that it goes that way too. So I hadn't thought about that, but it will work much better with pickup lockers.
Any other questions? I have a question for Spark, I guess. For when once in a while we'll get an ILL that we did the short record and everything like that, and somehow it pops to say in stacks, which it should be ILL. And another library in our resource sharing placed a hold on the item. Is that possible? Like, if it says stacks, that means they can see it.
So when you're creating the item, you want to make sure that, and this is whether you use the precats or you use the, okay. I was going to say, you want to make, if you use ILL, it won't be holdable, but yours are.
Yes.
We shouldn't be transitable. But do you do ILLs for all of
My branches? Yes.
Lackawanna? Okay. So yeah, so you're kind of a special case in that one, because normally if you make it ILL, then it's not holdable.
Okay.
But yeah, you want to make sure that the template is applying correctly, like just visually to look at those. And yes. I think Elizabeth was going to add something too.
That was what I was going to say.
Oh.
Okay. Yeah, you just want to make sure that it applies. And if you make it if you do it as a precat, it will be stacks.
Okay.
And so if somehow like a staff member ends up creating but then if it's precat, it won't be holdable. So yeah, you just want to make sure that the template is applying.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because we had a one that it somehow it was stacks. We applied everything. It still said interlibrary loan, but it somehow the location was stacks. And
Yeah.
and if the other library, when our resource sharing libraries placed it on hold and to go and transit to their location, I had to let them know that it wasn't, it was an ILL book, but it happens once in a while. So I don't know if it's a glitch or not. I don't know why it did that. We usually put apply, and I'm not sure how that happened, but I'll keep an eye on it in case it comes up again and see how it was done. So I'm not the only one. Megan in my office does it to ILL, so I'm not seeing what she's doing every day. I'll do some and she'll do
Yeah.
most of it. So I'm not, could have been an error on her part, I'm not clicking and make sure it was clicked, but I just wanted to.
Yeah, so it should, as long as you're applying the template, it should be okay.
Okay.
But if we have, if there, for some reason it's not, like you find that it happens more than once, then yeah, and so like, because the templates are associated with your workstation,
Okay.
it is possible to kind of lose them if your computer like hard reboots, and Evergreen doesn't see it as the same computer. So like, and we have had occasionally we've had other issues with templates. So
Okay.
like, if it happens, let us know, because it always can be staff error. I've made many staff errors.
Yeah.
But there are some other things that we could check out too.
Okay. Okay.
Mary Porter mentioned that she uses search catalog, numeric search by barcode to delete them, and that's fine too.
Okay.
You can delete them from the bib page, from holdings maintenance, from item status. You could put them in a bucket first if you want to delete them from the bucket. Whatever makes your hearts happy.
I have another question for you guys too while you're on here.
Yeah.
I know I told everybody to put, like, if you go back to the catalog. Come on. Oh, search. It usually shows, if I have like my notes, it usually shows right here. I'm not seeing that anymore. Is that? It usually would have the item notes right here, but I'm not seeing that. Is it because my screen is not big enough, or?
So usually the notes, is it on the patron view?
No.
Because it's a public note, right?
Yes.
If you go ahead and click on patron view, I want to make sure it's not. Oh, it's not gonna.
It's not going to appear because it's not in the catalog, not visible.
I mean, the way I found the way to see it, if you guys want to know, I usually just hit edit. And attributes, and then I'll go where it says, and it'll show me right here that I put that note in there, but I wonder if it's like a better way for us to see it again. I know it used to be there, like for the staff member to see it too. They're looking, because it's only staff visible, not OPAC visible. So I just wanted, like, so it's in there, the staff like, oh, what's good condition or anything like that, so that it's going in there. It used to be that way, but it changed. I'm not sure why.
We can look at a couple of different ways to do that, Tessa, and I want to say that there's a bug too. So will you just put in a support ticket, because that, and if there's anyone else who's using the notes for that workflow, definitely let us know and we can look into it. But I could troubleshoot it, but I don't know off the top of my head. So
okay. So we have to do another couple of steps to look into this and hit that button. I mean, you could do this. You want to apply more, add notes to it. You can click add more notes, but I figure it used to be right underneath the call number, says items notes right here, but it's not there anymore. I tried to do the, the settings and column width, but it just doesn't, that's all it does.
So, okay, if you go to holdings view, then do the little gear wheel on the right. Then there's one called Notes.
I go back now.
I
I don't see it here.
Oh, Notes 1. Okay, Notes 1. So you can see
right there.
you can see that it has a note.
Okay, let's see. Go back and refresh.
No, it won't.
Oh,
That
oh,
it doesn't
okay.
it doesn't impact that screen.
Oh, okay.
So you could, yeah, you could, if you wanted to default to holdings view, then you could see that you could at least see whether or not it has a note.
Okay.
But you have to save the columns
Gotta
if you
save
want it
it,
to be
yeah.
persistent, yeah. And hot tip for everybody is that if you go to that back to that little gear and do save grid settings, then it'll remember the things that you chose. So if you turn columns off, turn columns on, change widths and stuff, make sure you save that, because there's nothing more frustrating than spending 5 minutes perfecting your interface and then losing it all when you navigate away and go back.
Yeah, okay.
And Elizabeth shared the bug,
Okay.
the relevant bug. So yeah, I think that's something that they're still working on getting into the Angular stuff catalog.
Okay. I know it was there before. It was there before. I don't know when.
Mhm.
It was there before. It was like right at the bottom right here.
I think probably it's, if you use search catalog traditional, which we don't encourage people to use, it's probably
Okay.
there.
That's probably on that one. Okay.
Because it looks like it that's when it became an issue, is when they
Okay.
moved to the new staff catalogs. Okay. Does anybody else have things they want to pick our brains about ILO wise? Please let us know.
Do you guys want to do your thing first? This is more ILR related, and then I'll go back to share it and the other stuff first.
Either way, does anybody let me make sure, does anybody
Okay.
really want to see like the stats can be really useful? Do people want to see that first, or they want to see the new thing, the secret thing? And I apologize if you can hear the construction at my house, because I definitely can. Secrets. Okay. Okay. Elizabeth, I will let you get set up, and then I will just talk a little bit about what this is. Oh no, we have one vote for secrets and one vote for stats. We need a tiebreaker. Okay, so how juicy this secret is depends on how much time you spend on ILO. Because if you are a person who a major part of their day is interlibrary alone, then it's pretty darn cool. But it requires a little bit of setup. So if you don't do a ton of ILO, then it may not be for you. What we are working on, and we're going to be piloting this at a couple of libraries here in May to let them play with it. It's only loaded on the test server right now. It's not loaded on production. And it's something that we won't turn on for anybody until they're ready for it, because it does dramatically change your workflow. But we're working on a way, it's called NSIP, and it lets Share It tell Evergreen what you're doing. So I think, Tessa, you have to stop screen sharing probably. So what it's going to do is you're going to do your normal workflow in Share It, but then instead of having to then also go over to Evergreen to check an item out to the library, for instance, Share It is gonna do that on your behalf. It's pretty cool. Okay, Elizabeth.
Okay. All right. So I'll be doing it for, wait, hold on. I have to get one other screen up. Okay. So I'm going to pretend that my cat Rosa is our patron. She's at the Hollidaysburg Library in Blair County, and she really wants this book, Modern Life Poems. They don't have it at her library, only Allentown has it. So she puts in a request with the staff for the ILL, and let me get the ISBN. So as a staff member at Hollidaysburg, they're going to log in to share it, and they're going to do a search for the item. That's not the barcode I copied. Oh. Oh no. Always when you want to show something, it doesn't work the way you think it will. This is, okay, hold on, sorry. Technical error on my part. So you'll type in the ISBN or the title. Why is my keyboard not working? There we go. Okay, so here's the book. You'll notice when you do searches now, it's gonna tell you to add additional results. So we're gonna do that just for example purposes. We see that Allentown has it, so I am going to request the item. And now I am going to put in Rosa's barcode number. And I'm going to search for the barcode number in the barcode field. And it's going to search Evergreen. And I'm going to say select this patron.
So I don't know about most libraries, but I know the libraries I worked with, they didn't do the part where you actually like tell share it who the patron is, because it doesn't connect to the ILS, so it doesn't really matter. But this is part of the new integration where it'll pull these things in.
Okay, so we have all of that info is correct. So I'm going to hit submit. And my ILO request has been submitted. And so it should be going out into the world of ShareIt. So staff at the Allentown Library or whatever library, oh, hold on. Whatever library got targeted, and I missed one step to trick the system into letting me test this. You won't have to do this.
So because when you do the request, regardless of if you do it from the ShareIt holding that represents the other ShareIt participants or the one that represents all of Spark, it's going to go to your regular rota. And so you can always adjust your rota. We're doing this assuming that it's a Spark lending library and a Spark borrowing library, but you can do it without it being Spark on both sides.
Yes, so I am on a screen that you cannot see, telling the system that we have shipped the item to the Hollidaysburg Library. So just to give you a full example of how this works. So now the item has been shipped to our library, and we open our packages, we open our dashboard, and it will be under our shipped items. You'll see it's right here. We're going to open it up because we want to receive it. So we're going to say received. Now this is where you would put a new barcode. You have to put in a new barcode because if you don't, and this is another Spark library, it'll throw everything out of whack and it'll make things very difficult. So for testing purposes for us, I don't have barcodes, so I'm just adding some letters at the beginning. So this is where you would, again, put your dummy barcode and mark the item as received. I do need that barcode. So I'm submitting it. So now I have the item, I've received it, and I'm ready to lend it to my patron. When I look at
Right.
my patron's
is
account,
This is the magic part. Watch the magic.
the item is already on hold for them. It's ready to go. It's already targeted. So all we have to do is check in the item. It'll go to the public hold shelf. I'm not going to print because I don't have a printer. And I can start checking it out to them. So let me pull up my patron. And again, there you go. You see your hold, it's ready to go. So I can check it out. You can always adjust the due dates if you need to, but it will follow the rules that we have set forth for your ILL circulations.
So this is
Alrighty.
eliminates us putting a short record in, right? That's what pretty much this is, right? Eliminating us putting short records in.
It does
Yes.
it for you.
It
Yeah,
does
okay,
it for
cool.
you.
Good. Okay.
And then do you want to show the other side, Elizabeth, or do you want me to tell them how?
Well, let me finish. So
sorry.
so the item is checked out. Rosa reads the book. She brings it back to the library. You can check it in. It's going to say it's going to go to Access PA, and that's your sign for your staff to give it to the ILL staff. And then as an ILL staff member, you'll bring up your item in Share It. So these are received items. And I'm going to go into the title that I have, and I'm going to return it and ship it back to Allentown in this case. So when Allentown gets it, they're going to do the last step, and they're going to I can never remember which side of the screen to look on. Sorry. Just to check it in. And so when Allentown gets it, they check it in Share It.
Yeah, they mark it as, is it
Checked
check in
in.
or mark as return?
Yep.
Check in. Okay.
It's check in. And then when we look at the item, it's already been deleted. So you don't have to do the buckets, you don't have to delete them. So what it does is it tells Share It tells Evergreen to do the following things. Is it's going to create the mark record, it's going to create the hold, and then when the item has been returned to the owning library, it will delete the record. Any bills or fines that were accrued will stay on the patron's account, but the record for the item will be gone. So questions in the chat are very nice, happy. So this is not only for Spark to Spark lending. This will be for any library participating in Access.
And
So,
I hate to burst Brant's bubble, but I don't think this means no more wraps, because you will need to use a dummy barcode. Like you can do it the way that Elizabeth did it, where she prefixed it. And then you could just kind of cover the barcode that's on the item so that staff have some kind of visual cue not to check it in. It works if you check it in Spark, it doesn't break everything, but it doesn't work as well. So we always strongly recommend / really require that you use for ILL transactions, you use not the items barcode if you're the library who's lending it to the patron. If you do a lot of ILL business with a particular library and you would like to have staff mediated resource sharing with them to be able to do the ILL air quotes through Spark, but only have it be that staff can request that, we can do that. But if you're going through Access PA, you need to use a dummy barcode of some type. So sorry to rain on my own parade, but, but you do have to do that. But the NCIP integration does make it a lot faster. If Elizabeth wants to show the other side, it also, when the request comes in, it just automatically puts it on hold and it shows up on the pull list. So there is a lot of staff time reduction.
So it won't be any more like we do like our own, like when we go to share it, we do like print that pick list part out. It'll be on there or our actual pick list insert. Is that what you're saying? Or
yeah, it's going to be on the Spark pull list.
Okay.
And libraries can have different workflows. So like I worked at a library where the ILL person would put regular holds on, but then when they printed the pull list, they printed it with the transit name and they wouldn't, so if they didn't have time, they wouldn't pull the ones that were going out for ILLs. So you could do it, like depending on the workflow, you can still do it that your staff is the one who pulls them, but it will come up on the regular pull list.
It will come up on a regular, okay. Would it be the patrons that under or the library itself hold?
It will
if you are sending it to another library,
yes. Will it be the library name on there or the patron's name?
It'll probably say access.
Oh, access. Okay.
It'll say route to the destination will be access. And then the hold slip, air quotes, or I mean, it'll print a hold slip, and the patron name will be the library name. Will you show it, Elizabeth? Sorry,
I'm putting something on hold now, so just
I will calm down. So we are hoping to have the final round of testing done by the end of May-ish. Crystal will be getting an email from me sometime this week. We're trying to coordinate schedules between our staff, library staff, and Access PA staff, and Autographic staff, which is the vendor who has who provides ShareIt. So there's been a lot of back and forth. And then once we get it up and running at a couple of libraries, then we will be looking for that kind of second round pilot. So the way that we're going to do that is we're going to look first at, we're going to do it, start with our power users, our people who are doing lots and lots and lots of ILL transactions, which are mostly district centers, but we'll also do some single location libraries to make sure that we're doing kind of both types of customers. So could be as early as this summer. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, Brant, that is what I would so for libraries that are consolidated in Access PA, then you can have the libraries just, if they just check it in and put it in the bin, and then your staff know that if the transit slip says route to Access PA, then it goes to the ILL person. So that should work fine. other questions?
Here's what it'll look like on the pull list. So this is what it would look like on the Allentown side when I put in my request. You'll see row 4 is access in SIP. So that would be your indicator that you need to give the item to the ILL staff. And the other one as well.
Mhm. Yeah, and you can see the short code too is access PA. And if you turn on patron, one of the patron name fields, then that should be the library name. This is such a long list.
Sorry, is it patron name?
You might be able, you can just do patron barcode. Is that, wait, no, go back. Down. Yeah, patron barcode. Yep.
Yeah. And all of the patron barcodes will be abbreviated access PA, and then it's their actual access
Their lending code, yeah.
lending code. So that's what we've been working on.
I like that. I'm gonna use that like now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're hopeful that we'll be able to roll it out pretty soon.
Because we do a lot of
and
ILLs here.
You do,
I
yes,
do
you're
a
in
lot of-
the
yeah.
you're in the top 5, I
Yeah.
believe. Yeah.
Do a lot.
Yeah.
Gotta
Because,
cut
and
time.
partially because you do them for all the Lackawanna locations, right? So
Well, we
or
do like
the-
that, and
the
we do like
branches.
OCLC too. So I know that that wouldn't work with that, but we still have to do OCLC. We probably still have to do our normal thing because I know OCLC is not.
You could reach out to OCLC and see if they do NSIP.
Okay.
I don't know.
I don't know. There's a lot of out of state material, so I don't know. You know, it's not like everything in the piano, everything's out of state. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's
I
just
don't-
looking at the connection. It doesn't, they don't have to be Spark libraries. The example we did was Spark to Spark only
Okay.
because we could trick the system into picking a copy that we knew we could get and
Okay.
force the actions to go through the workflow. So it's only on your side. So if you did it with like a library that isn't in Spark and they're sending the stuff, it'll still put the hold on, it'll still do all of that. It's
Okay.
just the example was Spark to Spark.
And I'm hopeful, and we'll see if there's a way we can. I guess we'd have to have the Power Library folks at HSLC track this, but I think that it will reduce days to fill, because instead of the ILL staff person coming in, looking at the pending requests, searching them to see if they're available, you know, going and getting them or putting the hold on them, it's not only is it already checking, like it's for everybody already, it's already checking to see if they're in an available status or not. And so it shouldn't come up on your pending list unless yours is available. And then if it automatically places the hold, then I think that's going to reduce the time that it takes to actually get the item out the door.
Yes.
So
you'll want to indicate in both. Well, you'll indicate it and share it that it's unable to be filled. And then a good practice would be to mark it missing in Evergreen so that you can look for it later. And then also share it won't target that copy in the future until it becomes available again.
I wonder if you went into share it and said that you couldn't find the item, it might cancel the hold and then look for and go for the next copy. We'll have to test that one. That hasn't been one of the scenarios we've tested yet.
So if it would be like, say we mark it lost in Spark, will it won't bounce to the next? No. Okay.
It goes
One way.
One way.
Okay.
Yeah. So Share It can tell Evergreen what it's doing, but Evergreen can't tell Share It what it's doing.
What it's doing. Okay.
And plus the statuses in Share It are not the same statuses that Evergreen uses, so.
Okay.
Yeah, so Brand's question about the library barcodes. So if it goes through NSIP, we've created those accounts and we did them so that they don't conflict with library barcode numbers. If you still do business with OCLC or another resource sharing system, then you'll still want to use your library account for that. Because you wouldn't effectively be able to use the one. What we did is we made a fake library that's the Access PA library that has all these patrons that are the libraries, which is the same thing that our libraries are doing right now. So yeah, so if you won't need to use your own accounts if you're using NSIP, but if you do other ILLs, or if you do ILLs that are not through any, like some people have like an arrangement with a neighboring county where they just like have barcodes for each other's libraries, then that you'd still want to use whatever setup you're using now. Okay. Tessa, do you want to show? I know a couple people wanted to see the stats in Share It. Can we do that real fast?
Yes.
Anybody who needs to leave us the top of the hour to go head to lunch, thank you so much. This will be recorded if you do want to come back and check out the stats. Mary Porter, I will definitely include you in the list of second round pilot libraries for NSIP. Anybody else who thinks that they're interested in being an early adopter for that can let us know. And have a great Wednesday.
Okay. Come and Share It. I click, usually when you go in it says stats, statistics, and you gotta click. Oh.
Do you want to share your screen?
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Okay, let's see. Your screen. Let's hope I picked the right one this time. Okay. That's the right one, you guys? Okay. Thank you. Okay. Usually when I go on to Share It, it usually it's like this part is closed. So I'll click on statistics, and then for your borrowing, I'll click on borrowing statistics. Okay. Here's where you have to make sure you put monthly. I mean, we don't really do weekly, so I'll never use weekly. Click monthly, and then you want to choose your date range. Usually, let's see. Come on. You could usually put for whatever it says that for this month. Well, now it's April. Click monthly, and then you'll submit. And if you want to change your dates from like, I don't know, 1-3 to, I think it's 31 days, but I think it's 31. As long as you put the start date as a start date and you put monthly, it'll populate itself. It'll populate the dates for itself, and it'll let you know request submitted, request filled, items received, and you can go back and forth between the months previous. For the whole year, like in the annual report, you hit the whole year, you have to add everything yourself, like write down, you know, items request submitted or request filled, because this right here doesn't populate for the whole year. You have to actually put in a spreadsheet and then add them all up to get your for the year when you do the yearly report. Let's see. Go back to file stats, and the same as for the lending part too. And you can go previous, and it'll show you how many books received, requests filled, items supplied. I believe items supplied, and reason why the items supplied and requests filled, because the item you received in for that month, I believe. I'm not mistaken, the item supply is what you receive within that month. So these numbers may look a little different when you're doing this. So I think it was items filled for just say yes to, but you may not got it till like the next month, or say it's 31st and then the first is around the corner and you received it. So the item supply won't be until you actually received it. I believe that's how Sherrod has it. The question.
No, Leslie's just saying she has to leave. Bye, Leslie.
Okay. Let's see. I think that's. And then also activity. Say if like you return the book is closed, you want to know what you actually requested and share it. There used to be an easier way back in the old days, VDX, but when they changed it over to this, I don't think anybody knew where it was. So I always like to look around and search for different things to help us. So say if you got a book, you want to know your what you requested or patron requested a while ago. Let's see, I can do. Everyone. You have to select format, Excel, because it'll print in the Excel sheet for you. So you put Excel, request, record, Excel only, and hit submit. At the bottom, left hand. Where is it? Okay. And then show you for the month you pick, it will show you all of your titles you did for that month or whatever range, date range you selected. And they'll tell you where you got it from. I'll also tell you, move it up a little bit. Scroll over. Tell you kind of material, the time, original date you put the request in. Some have patron's names, some don't. So I'm not sure why some do and some don't, but patron's name might be there. Most likely all of them have now. This if you don't use the note field in Spark to let you know how many requests the patron does, because in Scranton we only allowed a year for you to request an ILL. Like you can't request a multiple ILL and like 3 times, So we give patron a year. So if you don't use a note field in Spark, this is the way for you to like, oh, I believe that patron asked for that book 2 months ago. So you can always go back and see. And it'll tell you if the item was filled too. Let me scroll over. And it say all the items that were filled. And a history date. So if you want to keep a record of your titles, maybe you want to put them in your collection. If you notice a book that was requested more than one time throughout the year, you could kind of use that for that. If you want to put a book, different patrons ask for, or you want to put them in your collection, you can always look and see how many times a book was requested. If that's like this book was requested 3 times, but I think it's for the same patron or something. I'm not sure why this book was requested 3 times. Yeah, for the same patron. So right there, you see this book was requested 3 times for the same patron. I'm not sure why, but it was. So that'll give you a clue of how many times the item was placed and share it too. Any other questions? I want to keep them way longer than they need to be. Oh.
Yeah. So Beth, you do need to have original cataloger permissions to create short records because you're creating it from scratch.
I got a question for the with the access thing too. So when say when the book comes in, we had to still check it in, right? Still check it in on our end, or it automatically checks in when we check it in on Share It and make the whole available, right?
You check it. So you receive the item in access,
Okay.
and then the hold is placed automatically by the software in Evergreen. And then you check in the item to capture the hold.
Okay. So okay.
And then it triggers all of your native holds notifications, and then you will check out the item as you would.
Okay. So I want to make sure
normally in
I'm
Evergreen.
thinking this,
Mhm.
that. Okay.
Tessa, there is a question from Angie regarding the patrons can only place 3 holds total or the same title 3 times.
Well, we only in Scranton we only do 1 title each year. Like you play, like you want to put a hold through a request to Share It. We only allow one title a year. That's what I mean.
So you can have as many hold requests.
Oh, you can have as many requests as you want. It's just the title itself.
You can't request the same title multiple times.
Okay. Yes. Any other questions? I think that's it.
It looks it.
Okay. Well, thanks
Thank
all
you,
for coming.
Tessa.
Thank you, Tessa.
Thanks.
Thank you.